The aviation industry was among the worst hit in 2020, recording losses of $118 billion. Furthermore, due to global restrictions and lockdown measures, international passenger demand in 2020 was 75.6% below 2019 levels. Domestic demand for aviation services in 2020 was down 48.8% compared to 2019. Capacity contracted by 35.7% and load factor dropped 17 percentage points to 66.6%. In Africa, revenue passenger kilometer, otherwise known as passenger mile accumulated, fell by 68.8%, with passenger load factor level 3 down by 57.4%. This translated to losses of over $8 billion. In Kenya, national carrier Kenya Airways lost over $100 million in 2020 to the pandemic. Speaking during a live session by Center for Aviation, Ethiopian Airlines CEO attributed the massive losses not just globally, but in the continent to drastic lockdown measures. According to Telwode, due to Africa's poor health infrastructural capacity, strict lockdown measures were imposed to curb importation and spread of the virus at the cost of the aviation industry.
African countries have taken extreme measures in terms of closing borders. So almost every African country has closed its borders. And that has stayed also for too long, like I would say between March and September. So that has affected African airlines because almost all African airlines were grounded for that long period. Especially the fact that we missed the summer peak means a lot in terms of not able to support the airlines operations in the continent. Also, there is no capital market in Africa, so they cannot sell bonds, they cannot borrow money from banks or from financial institutions like Europe and America. So I would say it has been affected very badly.
While the aviation sector in the continent took a big hit in 2020, Telwode says rain has been beating African airlines for the past 6 to 7 years. However, that is not the case for Ethiopian Airlines. The airline has always been profitable. Furthermore, the airline amid the pandemic has managed to remain cash positive. According to Telwode, the airline earlier on maximized on the opportunity available in cargo aviation. It converted 25 of its passenger planes to cargo to boost capacity. The cargo planes have been transporting personal protective equipment across the world, ensuring that the airline stays busy and afloat.
So the yields were very good. Demand was very high. So we took advantage of that opportunity at the right time. So we've shown agility, speed of decision making, resilience. That has helped us and still helping us thus far. So to answer your question, we have a very strong cash flow. So we are still managing our cash flow within our internal resources without any bailout money or without any borrowing for liquidity purposes and without any employee layoff or any salary reduction. So it is an amazing performance, I would say. But this is because, we have developed an internal capacity suitable for any kind of challenge in the last 10 years. So we have done an amazing job.
Despite the sharp falls in 2020, International Air Transport Association baseline forecast for 21 is a 50.4% improvement on 2020 demand that would bring the industry to 50.6% of 2019 levels. While this view remains unchanged, there is severe downside risk if more severe travel restrictions in response to new variants persist. Should such a scenario materialize, demand improvement could be limited to just 13% over 2020 levels, leaving the industry at 38% of 2019 levels. As such, Telwode says Africa must leverage on the opportunities availed by the Africa Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, adding that free movement of goods and people translates to traffic for airlines.
Post-COVID, the African countries will be searching for opportunities of trade. not only with their traditional trading partners in Europe and China mainly, but also within themselves and among the peers in Africa. So that is a big incentive. The second incentive is, I think, now that the U.S. administration has changed, we'll see. But before, globalization was having a big setback and a lot of barriers, a lot of nationalism, a lot of protection. So in the midst of that situation, maybe African countries will fall back to their continent. So that's also another incentive for the success of CFTA and also the currency issue.
In 2021, IATA says that demand for air travel in Africa is expected to strengthen to 45% of 2019 levels to reach close to 70 million travelers to and from the African region. However, a full return to 2019 levels is not expected until late 2023. For Metropole TV, I'm Ondero Oganga.